Welcome back, everybody. New video with new characters. We're actually going to do a few videos because there's so much information with different tunes. I want to try to break it down to be a little bit more of a bite to chew off of. Is that the right way to say that? A little bit of a bite you can chew, not a big bite. I don't know. Anyway, so we've got a bunch of Asgardian stuff. We've got a new legendary. And in this video, we're only going to focus on a little bit of that because I don't want to just throw a bunch of stuff at you. I want you to be able to see a video and go, you know what, this is what I'm going to get. So anyway, so we're going to look at some of this new information. It's obviously an envoy situation from Fox Next. So we're going to go through that whole spiel. So let's do that. And then we'll get into our specific character that we're going to talk to in this video. Is it going to be Sif? She's new. Heimdall, he sees you. Is it going to be the rework for the Asgardians with Loki and Thor? I don't know, maybe. Or is it going to be about our new legendary and what it's going to take to get Mr. Black Bolt? So anyway, let's do our disclaimer / Fox Next coverage first.
WolverThor!
I'm a part of a volunteer Fox Next Envoy program. I'm not an employee of Fox Next, nor am I an employee of Marvel. I do not receive any payments from either of these companies. The information that I was provided came directly from Fox Next through this Envoy program. However, any opinions, comments, or analysis of this information is strictly my own. All right, first up, Heimdall. So we've got a little paragraph right up here. I'll go through real briefly. Descending into battle, next for the Asgardians is Heimdall. Along with being the guardian of the Bifrost, parentheses, the rainbow bridge that connects Asgard with Earth and other realms, end parentheses, Heimdall is a fierce warrior who possesses senses that allow him to see across all realms. Foreshadowing! For the Asgardian team, he's a brawler who smites with heavy attacks, gives Asgardians immunity to blind, obviously, flips enemy stealth, turns into bleed, removes heal block, and grants defense up to all Asgardians on war defense. So there's a lot to kind of digest there, so we're going to go through kind of his traits and his abilities. We're going to talk about the energy we get through it. I'm not going to talk about all the specific damage percentages. We did get some videos that showed that. Even the T4 stuff, I think I might wait to kind of include that in the final, or the video that I do that really dissects this character, because what happens is the stats that we have right now are not based on the stats that I like to use from msf.gg, and they're not on there yet. So this is kind of a preliminary / envoy video to share some information with you guys. So I'll get to that kind of WolverThor analysis in another video, but for now, let me get you this information. So Heimdall's traits: hero, cosmic, mystic, brawler, and Asgardian. I think that's all, somewhat expected, I'd say. His basic, called Hofun Slash, attack the primary target for damage and gain an assist from an Asgardian ally. So it's a fine basic, depending on his base damage and the percent, that's gonna determine how good that ability really is. The assist is obviously a big bonus. Special. His special is called Divine Foresight. This starts with 2 out of 4 energy. Flip stealth on each enemy, attack all enemies for damage, clear heal block from self and all Asgardian allies. So anytime there's an ability like this, it depends to me, when is it gonna have the opportunity to be used? So being 2 out of 4 energy, if he's not getting fed energy, this is going to be, I think, a third turn ability, because you're gonna use his ultimate, which we'll get to in a second first, basic, and then you're gonna be able to use it. So is there going to be stealth on the other enemy across the way? Maybe. Is there going to be heal block on the Asgardians? There could be heal blocks that late. We'll see. Obviously, it depends who you're attacking, but so this one seems to be like it feels right with as far as where it's placed in the war battles with energy and everything. His ultimate is going to be called Sworn Oath. It starts with 4 out of 4 energy. Now, a lot of the ultimates recently have been, 8 energy, 6 energy, whatever it might be. It's feels a little longer than normal. So it's nice to see that this one's just 4. Again, depending on his speed, will determine if he gets a second turn on it, if there's any energy feeders on the team. Attack the primary target for damage, and also attack all adjacent targets for damage. Apply heal block to the primary and secondary targets. So this is a first turn ability. You're going to be hitting your primary and adjacent and applying heal blocks. What I'm not sure if I like about this is if it's just a 1-turn heal block, is it going to even do anything? I don't know. You know, it's kind of like we'll see how it kind of plays in with the rest of the Asgardian team, but that was the first thing that popped in my head as I questioned how useful that heal block really would be. Now his passive, the All-Seeing. Gain 10,000% resistance to blind as Guardian allies gain the same resistance. So that's where you kind of get this immune to blind concept, which again, that makes sense. Gain focus as Guardian allies gain focus. Now this next one is going to see something you see in a lot of the videos that I'm doing at the moment. On turn, heal self for a % of max health plus a % of max health per non-minion Asgardian ally. So what's happening with that is every turn he's going to heal for some percentage plus an additional amount of percentages based on all the Asgardians there. So if it's like 5% and there's 4, he's getting a 25% heal every time he goes. And that's just his passive. It just happens. He just gets it. On ward defense, on spawn, apply defense up to all Asgardian allies for 2 turns. So that's a real nice kind of ward defense mechanic. I think it'll, make them, there's going to be war, these guys are going to be on war defense. They're just going to be placed there with the healing, with his defense up for 2 turns. It's going to be kind of a pain in the butt. We'll see if Supernatural ends up getting flipped over to offense to maybe combat that with strange flipping things. We'll see. So the way he's going to shake out is you're going to use his ultimate first turn to put out some heal blocks, do some damage. You're going to use his basic to hit somebody and get an assist. And then that third turn, if there's any stealth out there, you're going to use his special to flip that stealth, attack enemies, and clear heal block on himself. So we'll see how much that kind of plays into the right, if he comes up, if these abilities come up at the right spot, especially with the AI on defense, but it feels okay. I don't know how I'd change it. I think the ultimate applying heal block probably should be for more than 1 turn just to make it a little bit more juicy and give you a little bit more effect there, but it is what it is. So now we're going to jump into some stats. Now, I want to preface this by this is kind of a preliminary character review for me because it needs to be, what I like to normally do is get the stats in MSF from msf.gg and then compare it to everything else. So what I've had to do is kind of interpolate, and I'll go over this, what I've gotten from Fox Next. So, and when I've gotten just basic information, I don't like to give it the 100% kind of, because I don't know the information. So I've got to get that info to kind of analyze it. So anyway, having said that, let's go to the stat sheet. Okay, for those of you who have not seen any of my videos with these stat sheets before, what I've essentially done is I've ranked all of the characters in the game as far as what their stats are. I've gone to msf.gg, I've put every character in for level 70, 7 yellow stars, no red stars, T11, 1% Stark, and passive level 4. From those kind of criteria, I've taken the stats and put them into each category and then ranked them accordingly. So that way I can kind of look at an overall average rank. And what I had to do for this one, because we don't know specifically what their stats are, I'll zoom in here a little bit, is I know what the stats were from that Fox Nest gave us from some of the videos that they showed for these 2 characters at level 75, 7 yellow stars, 3 red stars, T12, and passive level 5. So based on that, I kind of did some interpolation of what, I took another character, America Chavez, and saw the difference in stats. So when you gave her that same criteria and then put it at the stats that I normally use above, and then adjusted these new characters' percentages, stats based on the percentage difference between what I had for America Chavez. If that doesn't make sense, just know that I adjusted the numbers to be able to be apples to apples to what I'm about to look at. That's really what you need to know. So having said that, like I mentioned, I rank all of these characters kind of as an average. So we're looking at Heimdall here, and you can see I'm way down here. I mean, he is way at the bottom. He comes in ranked at the 114th ranked toon in the game with an average stat ranking of 73. That's actually the worst new character that has come across since M'Baku. You know, so it's a pretty bad stat situation for him. So let's look specifically. Sometimes that might not matter because, you know, the stats that you're getting are not relevant, or like if it's, you know, maybe you don't want him to have a lot of resistance, and his resistance is, but everything else is good. Anyway, let's see if that's actually the case. So his health comes in at about 85k. It ranked number 37th in the game, so that's not terrible. It's not fantastic, but it's not terrible, so he should have some survivability. Damage is not really where I'd want it to be, because this guy doesn't seem to be, he's not a protector, he's a brawler, so he's supposed to be doing damage, and to come in at 78, and I put it in a half to, because that's kind of where he fell in at, but his base damage would be, you know, right around 65, 62, which is just kind of like, okay. As a brawler, I mean, he's not getting constant assists with Miss Marvel. He gets an assist from, you know, an Asgardian on his basic, but that's, you know, you're going to use that, what, second turn and then fourth turn, you know, so it's kind of like, okay. So I don't know if I love that. His armor comes in ranked at 61, 62, 61 and a half. It's 32, 92. Okay, fine. Again, he's a brawler. He's not necessarily meant to be this huge survivability person. And they got that passive heal going, so, you know, that should be fine. His focus comes in at 101. That's pretty bad. He, you know, applying heal block, that might not get applied as much. Obviously, there's some discussion in some of his kit about further focus. Still, at 101, I hope he can actually have the focus to be able to apply that debuff. We'll see. His resistance is pretty bad, so, you know, he's not a taunter, but, you know, he's probably going to be able to get cleared pretty simple as far as, you know, any buffs he's got. So those defense ups, if you got Fantastic Four with Namor, you know, and he might be just wiping that defense up off him. Truth is, I don't think Heimdall is going to be your primary target, so it probably disappear soon anyway. His speed comes in at 100 speed, and his rank is 66th. So I was a little bit surprised his speed's so good. And it's not great, but it's better than what I thought it would be compared to all these other ones. So he's got good health and okay speed, but and okay armor, but, you know, his focus is really bad. His resistance is bad. His damage is pretty bad. So I'm kind of like, all right, well, I guess, you know, so it's not making me love Heimdall where he's coming at. His average rank then is at 73. So, you know, if I'm looking at this character stat-wise, I'm not all that excited, you know, and especially when I'm thinking about how it relates to his kit. I don't see anything that, you know, outside of the focus, you know, and if his inability to put the heal blocks on. But again, I'm not convinced that those heal blocks are going to come up at a great time. So anyway, so those are the stats. So here's a peek at Heimdall. Just this is the video that we got. You know, he looks, I can't turn it or anything. I have no control other than to hit play. But you can kind of see his model a little bit. That's where you know, I said the stars that we got, the tier he's at. You can see his abilities here. What happens in the video is it kind of plays it shows, you know, his basic, it comes through, you know, it goes through the T4 stuff a little bit here, but again, once it gets in the game, I'll give it a real good kind of, you know, analysis, so you can kind of look at it specifically and really talk about what each one is. Goes through his stats, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's cap this thing out and talk about what we think about Heimdall. So as you see, my Asgardian friends here, I love how they come down, those little signias on the ground. Pretty dope. I'm really digging that. Heimdall. So my thoughts. Okay, he's cool. I mean, he's got some very interesting abilities in his kit. I think that, look, you don't have to get him right away, honestly. Like, as far as why for this specific character, in a video that I'm going to do with some of these other releases, I'm going to talk about why you will want to get him, so you can check that out. But, you know, legendary requirements. But anyway, so those are my children screaming at night, so if you want to hear them. So anyway, they love you, they love Heimdall. But yeah, so anyway, Heimdall, he's there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm, you know, for maybe legendary purposes, I'll push for him to, you know, get to a 5, but I'm not, he didn't blow me away necessarily. So anyway, tell me what you guys think. I appreciate you guys stopping by. There's tons of Envoy videos out there. I encourage you guys to go check them all out. We're all going to give you a different opinion and approach, and you know, you should look at them all and kind of form your own thoughts. So I hope what I've done is somehow pushed you in the right direction on figuring out what you want to do with Asgardians, and specifically in this video, Heimdall. So before you leave, hammer down on that like button, click that subscription bell, notification bells, all kinds of things. Tell your grandma, tell your grandpa, tell your parents, tell whoever you want, tell your friends, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, and I hope to see you again soon.